Hello, and welcome to Cybersecurity Today. I'm Jim Wiggins, your host. In this broadcast, we will deliver an overview of the latest and most pressing updates across the cybersecurity landscape. Over the next 30 minutes, expect expert analysis and insights into recent advancements within information security. To our new viewers, welcome to Cybersecurity Today. Our program uniquely blends elements of a talk show and a news broadcast tailored for a broad audience, from those just starting in their cybersecurity journey all the way to the experienced professionals. For beginners, we offer foundational guidance and critical resources to help you protect your digital assets. For our seasoned viewers, we provide detailed analysis and cutting-edge insights from industry experts. We invite you to join us as we delve into the cybersecurity landscape, and we hope that today's broadcast will be both informative and engaging. Let's talk about the format of our show. In our first segment, known as Cyber Bites, we'll cover the latest developments and key events impacting the cybersecurity landscape, from major data breaches and, in some cases, emerging threats. This segment is designed to keep you informed on the rapid shifts within this dynamic field. With a comprehensive agenda lined up, we're eager to bring you these critical updates. In our second segment, we're pleased to be welcoming Ms. Sanika Mody, a distinguished cybersecurity professional and active leader within the ISC²-NCR Chapter. Today, she will discuss empowering cybersecurity professionals, the impact of the ISC²-NCR Chapter, highlighting the role of this influential chapter in advancing professional development and collaboration within the cybersecurity community. Ms. Mody's insights will underscore how the ISC²-NCR's chapter supports skill building and fosters a strong network for cybersecurity professionals across the region. We look forward to her valuable perspectives on empowering the next generation of cybersecurity leaders. Let's now dive into the Cyber Bite segment and review some of the latest happenings across the cybersecurity industry. This segment will cover some of the most pressing issues and emerging trends, providing insights into the key incidents and evolving threats that are shaping activities today. In a significant development, the FBI has revealed a broad and significant cyber espionage effort by Chinese hackers aimed at infiltrating U.S. telecommunications networks. This campaign has reportedly compromised multiple companies, allowing access to sensitive customer data and private communications of individuals involved in government and politics. The investigation follows a series of high-profile hacking incidents linked to China, raising concerns about national security and the integrity of vital infrastructure. Authorities are collaborating with the telecommunications sector to enhance defenses against ongoing cyber threats. In other news, the Transportation Security Administration, or TSA, has announced plans to expand cybersecurity regulations for pipeline and railroad operators, aiming to enhance protections for critical infrastructure. This initiative follows the 2021 Colonial Pipeline ransomware attack, which prompted the TSA to issue temporary directives requiring incident reporting and security assessments. The proposed rules would apply to a broader range of companies, reflecting a proactive approach to safeguarding against cyber threats. Stakeholders are urged to prepare for these changes as the TSA seeks to bolster national security in the face of increasing cyber risks. That concludes our Cyber Bite segment. After a brief break, we'll be joined by Ms. Sanika Mody, a prominent leader within the ISC²-NCR Chapter, to discuss emerging cybersecurity professionals, the impact of ISC²'s NCR Chapter. She'll share insights into how the chapter is advancing professional development, collaboration, and community building for cybersecurity practitioners. Stay tuned for valuable perspectives on strengthening the cybersecurity workforce.
Hi, I'm Josh Temple. You might have seen me on TV where I help folks turn their houses into dream homes. But forget construction. Parenting is the toughest job there is. So when you need help or advice, turn to the parenting experts at Boys Town.
Welcome back to Cybersecurity Today. We are now joined by Ms. Sanika Mody, a highly experienced risk and IT management consultant with over 23 years in the cybersecurity and risk management fields. Ms. Mody is a CISSP, a CISA, and an ITIL service manager with a wealth of expertise in IT strategy, compliance, and governance. She's also the president of the ISC² National Capital Region Chapter. Today, she will be discussing empowering cybersecurity professionals, the impact of the ISC²-NCR Chapter. She's going to share insight on how this chapter fosters professional growth, community building, and collaboration within the cybersecurity industry. With a background in leading cross-functional teams and navigating complex regulatory landscapes, Ms. Mody brings valuable perspectives on strengthening the cybersecurity workforce. We're excited to gain her expert insights on this impactful initiative and chapter. Sanika, thanks for welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, Jim.
Can we start having you talk a little bit about what the ISC²-NCR is, its mission, and ultimately its vision and why it exists, I guess. Maybe we could start there.
So the reason it exists is really to just bring cybersecurity professionals and information security professionals together and exchange ideas, provide networking opportunities. And the biggest thing we do are our monthly conferences, if you will. We used to have them in person before the pandemic. However, since then, we've gone to virtual conferences every month, and everyone gets, the members all get 2 CPEs, and non-members have to report on their own. So 24 CPEs for free, basically, every month, every year. And we just have some really great speakers. And even though we do these in the evenings, we get huge audiences.
Understood. So I know there's a number of different associations out there, from other organizations as well. How do you think of what's really sets what I'm just going to call the NCR, the National Capital Regions chapter of ISC², apart from any of the other associations? Any thoughts on that?
I think every association has got some different focus. We're by far not the largest in the area, but we're pretty big as far as ISC² chapters are concerned, regional and local chapters. We have about 400 odd members. We've gone between 350 and 430 over the last few years. I think the biggest thing is we just have a variety of speakers, and it's very collaborative, very supportive. We've started doing in-person events as well. They've been just a huge success. And so we're very happy that we have that opportunity again to do that. Yeah.
So the ISC²-NCR is kind of a component of ISC², right? Mm-hmm. Can you talk a little bit about how it aligns with ISC²'s broader goals and ultimately how it tries to provide that value proposition to ISC² members?
I think the biggest connection, I would say, is the whole idea of providing education, awareness, and bringing more people into the field and getting them more interested. Both not just in the knowledge itself, but also in the certifications, because that just raises your knowledge level to a different tier, if you will, and it just gets you connected, with people that are working in the same field. The cyber attacks are just happening everywhere all the time. You could be looking over your shoulder, proverbially all the time, and there's just something coming at you. So the whole idea is to stay one step ahead. So I would say the biggest focus is education and awareness. Very, very critical, I think.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. In terms of additional professional development, is the NCR looking at any kind of opportunities to kind of expand or to continue to add additional benefits to the members?
So, we have provided scholarships every few years. I wouldn't say every few. It just depends on our board, really, what kind of bandwidth we have. But we've definitely provided student scholarships in the past, and also we are talking about, study groups for people. We just haven't quite solidified that. I think the biggest thing we've been able to do this year is just start the in-person events again, and that way, we can start. People get together and they become more interested because not everyone is certified really under ISC2, or even all the members. So just getting them more interested and getting them to learn what is out there, what kind of jobs are out there, what kind of opportunities are out there, and where the needs are. Biggest thing is where are the needs and what needs can be fulfilled, because a lot of times people, especially with the pandemic, nobody knows I have so much to offer, but how do I go about putting it to good use?
So let's build on that a little bit. From an individual's perspective, what kind of skills do you think employers are looking for within this particular space? What kind of knowledge, capabilities? It seems to me like you're kind of an interesting hub to be able to bring a lot of the employers and the people together. In terms of these meetings, what are you hearing that's important?
So it's not just the meetings, I would say, in my day job as well, right? I find, so we talk about all the technical and analytical skills. Those are skills that people can learn. But honestly, it's the interpersonal, sort of that's the soft skills, I think, that are really important. And I'm fascinated to see from all of our speakers, they will themselves say, I've got the technical skills, that's great, but how am I going to communicate them? Because one of the biggest barriers is funding, for cybersecurity efforts and initiatives. And if you can't communicate that up the chain of command, I mean, you can have 50, certifications, 50, technical and cybersecurity certifications, but they don't amount to much. It just leads to frustration. So I think it's that combination of the technical and the soft skills. I'm finding, that we really do promote that. Sometimes in subtle ways, and sometimes it just depends on how someone absorbs it, right? Sometimes it hits people in the middle of the eye, in between the eyes, and other times, it just takes a few sessions, a few conversations before they start to come to terms with that's really, really critical.
That makes a lot of sense. So you brought up certifications. Let's talk about that. So I'm sure some of our viewers are out there and they're trying to learn about maybe cybersecurity. What value do you think certification plays, both in terms of in the ISC2 ecosystem, but also just in the cyber landscape as a whole?
I think it really brings together all of the different aspects, that you need to know about, that you need to be aware of, and it just helps to focus, your knowledge base. And for me, for example, when I'm sitting with a group of professionals, let's say in a classroom and, going through a course or whatever, I mean, that just elevates my, input and just what I absorb. So I think that's massive when it comes to certifications. We've all run into professionals, right, who'll say, I'm too afraid of tests. I don't want to be taking tests. But you know what? Don't be afraid. I mean, the test was prepared by human beings, okay? So it's not meant to trick or trip anybody up. They're just meant to really, really solidify the knowledge, and then you keep building on it. As you work in the arena, you keep building on your knowledge. You just become part of this ecosystem. It really, really helps.
And so then, assuming like one of our viewers earns a certification, then I guess they would come to like the NCR and then they would attend meetings that would help earn CPEs or
Absolutely.
Professional developments. Can you talk about that for a moment?
Yeah, I mean, maintaining CPEs is such a huge thing for maintaining our certifications, and we've all scrambled, right? Either year end or with IC2, for example. I don't know what the current, situation is, but I know for me, for example, I got certified, around April or May 1st or whatever, and then that's when, so each individual has a different cycle of certification. And I mean, we all get mired in our daily jobs. We just get bogged down. But this is a way of not only just connecting with people, and on top of that, you learn some new things, and you on your CPEs. I mean, that's just a great trifecta right there. the number of times in our evening sessions that we do, the CP sessions where people have just bantered back and forth and said, this was so good. This was so good, just the networking ability. So like one time, we had a speaker who couldn't get his slides up for some reason. And we just had some technical difficulties, but we entered a discussion, an open discussion among the members. One person had a specific question, and it just turned into such a fantastic exchange. And everyone was like, oh, we just want more and more of this, So it's, we don't see any reason to stop what we're doing, honestly. And we're more than happy to take more, volunteer efforts and inputs and, grow.
Understood. You answered like 3 of my questions I had lined up for you in that last response, so we're going to go ahead and move ahead. I'm curious, like, what are some of the key issues that the NCR is looking at in terms of advocating for within the cybersecurity industry? Are there specific ideas or initiatives or focal points that the board is basically looking at or focusing on? And any thoughts in that respect?
So, I mean, currently, for example, of course, artificial intelligence, that's a big buzzword, right? What do we do about artificial intelligence? How do we deal with it? So I would say the way that most of us, so we have 3 people on the board that are all in the education industry themselves, in the cyber education. And so the big thing is really getting young minds interested in the field of cybersecurity and learn from, because we do have a succession planning and an aging issue. Some of us, as we age, there's only so much we're going to absorb. So there's a need for the young and the old really to come together. And what better way than to do that by knowledge exchange, because there's generational gaps, we're not going to fill them, but when you talk about knowledge, I mean, that's massive. We all need that historical perspective of why, for example, regulators, why do they do certain things the way they do? Why do they agree on some things? Why do they disagree on some things? So that, just bringing it all together, the knowledge and the communication aspects.
You brought up a really interesting point. So that's something I've noticed a lot of, because I'm obviously in the same space as you, and it feels like I continue to get older. And as I look across my peers, the median age seems to continue to rise with me, right? Yep. And I'm wondering, like, how do we, like, what is the NCR thinking about in terms of how they're going to try to address, maybe not workforce-wise across the whole industry, but in our own small part, how does the NCR look at trying to address some of those concerns?
I mean, I think, it's everything that I've already mentioned, particularly the in-person events. We are finding so many young people coming to these events, and it's amazing. It's really, really good to watch, and see how they're interested. They're just not there for a good happy hour event. They really want to learn. They really want to know. And, one of the events we had a panel of speakers, and everybody was equally engaged. I mean, it was just, if you heard the applaud that they got afterwards and the number of people that lined up to speak to each of the panelists, that was really nice to see. So it's a combination. I mean, it's harder to put on in-person events, obviously. But at the same time, they're very, very useful. And in the meantime, we don't want to lose sight of the fact that we've had, 100 people or more at once join our virtual CPE events. So we want to make sure we keep that going.
Understood. Is the NCR doing anything in terms of outreach with regard to policy or government engagement? Not as a whole sort of chapter, if you will, but very much on an individual basis. We'll hear, both members as well as, of course, board members in our own sort of day jobs, if you will, or through our day jobs. We're working on that. But I wouldn't say that it's solidified as a group, so much. Understood. How about outreach? Do members get involved? Does the chapter promote any kind of outreach to the public or to the industry as a whole?
So I would say more on the education side of things, really just getting young minds, interested and working in the cyberspace. So one of our board members recently did an event where they sent out these little devices, and it was more about learning how to hack and potentially set up, I wouldn't say zero trust environments, but the possibility of zero. How do you get to that? And what are the pros and cons? So more hands-on, exercises, if you will, and sort of labs and that type of, simulations, those types of efforts.
Understood. You did bring up mentors or mentorship at one point.
Yep.
What is the chapter doing in that space? It sounds to me like there's a potential for bridging between
Right.
those of us that are the old guard
Yep.
with the new
Yep.
guard that's
Yep.
coming up. Can
Yep.
you speak to that for a minute?
It's really more open-ended. We haven't, again, formalized it. We've started a bunch of initiatives, but really it's more about that whole volunteer effort. It comes and goes and fits and starts. But we've definitely connected a number of people, sort of almost like informally. We don't have it formalized, but we've connected a number of people informally through our events, and it reflects in the positive engagement and feedback that we're receiving.
Understood. How about partnerships? Does the chapter engage in partnerships with maybe companies or with other associations? I think there have been some talks about like the
Yes.
NCR talking with maybe ISC²-Nova. Can you
Right.
speak to that for a moment?
Yeah, so again, we are definitely, more than anything, there's some of these local associations that reached out to us, and it's, to the extent that we can participate. We did participate in the Women in Technology event put up by ISACA earlier this year. And it's through sponsorship. So for example, Young Women was sponsored to attend that conference. And we gave a little, a sum of money to make sure that they get sponsored. So efforts like that, and I would say, I feel like perhaps one or two of the other local chapters are better equipped in terms of resources. And so we are definitely working on partnering with them to have joint events potentially, or joint efforts. So we're definitely going in that direction.
Understood. So you're going to increase the network, if you will,
Yeah.
from both speakers as well as members, and
Yep,
bring them all
absolutely.
together and
Yeah.
get everybody on the same page.
Yep.
Now that makes a lot of sense. Let's now talk a little bit about the future, right? So, in terms of goals, what is the NCR thinking about in terms of, the next couple of years? And any thoughts in terms of what the board has maybe discussed relative to where they might want to be
Yeah.
focused on?
I think the biggest thing is the education aspect, providing scholarships, providing opportunities. Those are the biggest efforts right now that we're focused on for the next couple of years, if you will. And then continuing what we provide, for sure. I mean, and I don't even know if we talked about this, but there are folks who might be either transitioning careers or looking for positions in a specific area. We will definitely put their information out for the entire chapter membership, just to make sure that people have an outlet, and they can reach out. We don't necessarily ask for response directly to the board, but just the fact that people don't keep asking the same thing, we know that they have connected, and they've landed in the right place. So I would say just education and awareness are really the biggest initiatives that we're going to continue on. And if we can get into the policy arena, that would be great, but we haven't formalized that.
Does ISC2 have specific kind of strategic areas they want the chapters to focus on? Do you know, or do they they take more of a hands-off approach?
So they're starting to, under the sort of, I know the presidency sort of changed recently.
Yes.
But in the last few years, I believe it was Claude Rousseau or somebody by that name, she did try to, I know they've rebranded and there's more outreach. I think there is a little bit more formalization still happening on that end as well. But we're excited about that.
Yeah.
Just to bring all the different chapters together and working perhaps in the same direction. However, to some extent, the needs can be local and regional. Different regions are going to be in different situations or positions for what they need to handle. So I can't say that it's going to be completely uniform, but the idea is really, let's make this world more secure, but also do it in a fun and practical way.
Makes sense, makes sense. Talk to me for a moment about how you go about finding speakers, right? So you talked about the educational piece, bringing people together. Is it just a network where you reach out there and say, hey, we're looking for someone to come in and talk about X or Y, or?
Honestly, we don't have issues finding speakers. And other than that, I would say it's almost like a black box. We have our membership director. He just pulls them out of
You're talking today, huh? Yeah.
He just yeah, so and that's actually nice. I mean, it's really, it makes things so easy. That just shows the extent to which people really want to engage and be involved. So yeah, that has not been an issue at all. Knock on wood.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
And of course, you're more than welcome anytime.
Okay, thank you. I didn't realize that this was my interview. I thought I was interviewing you here, so I'll definitely have to.
You walked right into that.
There we go. I'll have to definitely come in and well, of course, I am a member of the ISC²-NCR. So, okay. So one final question: how do viewers learn more about the National Capital Region chapter of ISC2?
So there's two ways. One is the ISC²-NCR Chapter.org website. And then if they need to reach directly to the board, just BOD@ISC²-NCR Chapter.org.
Awesome.
Pretty simple. Yep.
Awesome. Well, thanks a lot. We really appreciate you coming in.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me.
So that concludes today's episode. We extend our sincere thanks to Ms. Sanika Mody for sharing her invaluable expertise on empowering cybersecurity professionals and the impact of the ISC²-NCR chapter. We hope that today's discussion has provided you with valuable insights and fresh perspectives on advancing your professional journey in cybersecurity. For more information on Cybersecurity Today and to stay up to date on future episodes, visit our website at www.cybersecuritytoday.org. Additionally, you can scan the QR code displayed at the bottom of your screen for quick and easy access to our show's website. Finally, we welcome your questions or comments via email at contactus@cybersecuritytoday.org. Feel free to reach out to us. We're here to assist and engage with you. That does it for today. Thanks a lot for joining us. We look forward to seeing you at our next broadcast. Stay safe, stay informed. Have a great day.